Welcome to 11 on 11 right here on THV 11 Plus. I'm Ashley King, and we start with some fun news from Central Arkansas this week. Thousands turned out for the grand opening of Arkansas's first Buc-ees, with some visitors traveling from across the state and country. But local leaders say this isn't just about barbecue, brisket, and clean bathrooms. They say that it's about family and economic development. THV 11's Tamer Knight has the story.
2, 3.
Come try Buc-ee's sandwiches. They're very good and amazing.
This was a grand opening with a crowd ready to celebrate and indulge. And allegedly, the earlier you got here, the better.
I was just impressed with the amount of families that showed up together. At 4:30 this morning, there were lines both directions and people from everywhere.
And by everywhere, Mayor Tom Former quite literally means everywhere.
I talked to a couple from Maine, a couple from Iowa, a couple from Alaska, a couple from Hawaii. I talked to some people from Tokyo, Japan. I talked to some girls from Egypt.
So what's the hype? What brings people this far?
Well, some of them come for the burritos, some would come for the nuggets.
Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders says the excitement could mean big things for Saline County.
People will come in, not only will they stop at Buc-ee's, they'll enjoy some of our great state parks, stop and stay at some of our hotels and other restaurants, and spend a lot of money while they're in Arkansas.
One woman from Oklahoma tells me she extended her weekend trip to be here today.
When I was pulling in the parking lot, I said, there's no way this place is that big. I mean, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It puts a smile on your face for sure.
Buc-ee's founder and CEO, Arch Beaver Applin, says Arkansas was a natural fit.
Well, Arkansas is just incredible. We think it's just right down the pipe on kind of our customer base.
To see so many people come out today, Mr. Beaver says the reputation that Buc-ee's has been able to build and maintain is special.
They're going to get great hot food. They're going to get a clean, safe environment. And best of all, they're going to get the world-renowned clean restrooms.
But good news for all of Arkansas. The company isn't stopping here. Mr. Beaver is already working on another location in West Memphis with potential for more stores in the state.
For sure, we have 2 and hoping to expand more than 2 in Arkansas.
In other news, the strain from prolonged dry conditions is growing in Conway, prompting Conway Corp to tighten water restrictions. The utility company has been asking customers to cut back for months, but water levels at Brewer Lake are still well below normal. That's now pushing Conway Corp into phase 3 of its emergency water curtailment plan, bringing more mandatory restrictions. And THV 11's Carter Thweet has the story.
Yeah, well, CEO Brett Carroll did tell me the culprit here is Brewer Lake, and also a lack of rainfall in that lake, which provides water for Conway and Conway County. That's why the city is in this phase 3 water curtailment, which is going to change some things for the time being about life here in Conway.
If you look at the U.S. Drought Monitor map, there are a few counties they're in extreme drought, and Conway County, where our lake is one of those counties.
That lake is Brewer Lake. A Conway Corp employee showed me spot after spot where the water level is lower than usual, like here where you can see on the rocks where the water would typically be, or here where the water level is far below the square platforms it can usually reach.
We had a similar situation in 2005 and 2006, but we're having it again this year. And so the drought is really we've not had as much rain as we normally get.
That's led Conway Corp to declare a phase 3 water curtailment.
The biggest change for phase 3 compared to phase 2 is that you water 1 day a week instead of 3 days a week. If your pool is not filled, if you don't have a full pool, then don't fill your pool.
On Monday, Brewer Lake was measured nearly 13 feet below its usual level. Carroll says it's not just residents that need to conserve water, but businesses, although they could have greater need.
If somebody needs water, processed water, to keep their business open, to keep people employed, then that's a priority for us. And it takes priority over green grass and shrubs.
Carroll said Conway Corp is using email and social media to get the word out, but the curtailment can also be enforced. They can track irrigation meters and then shut off water usage for anyone who is in violation of these rules. In Conway, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
Carter, thank you. And residents at a federally financed apartment complex in Clinton now have less than a month to find somewhere else to live. Patton Square Apartments is closing, and residents say they were given just 30 days notice. The complex operates under the USDA's Section 515 program, which helps provide affordable rural housing. The closure notice cites financial difficulties. That leaves multiple low-income residents scrambling to find new housing on a tight deadline. Clinton's mayor says the city is looking into what help may be possible, even though Patton Square is privately owned.
I'll talk to the city attorney. Definitely a private entity, and we are a city, but yeah, a lot of things. All the council members are faithful members and care about people, so we'll do everything we can.
The USDA and the company that manages the complex have not responded to requests for comments. Residents now have 27 days left before they must move out. Now to some election news with results on the closely watched Republican special primary for Arkansas Senate District 1. With all precincts reporting, Harold Wilson has defeated Missy Wardlaw 65 to 35%. Wilson, a Risen timber businessman and longtime Cleveland County School Board president, will now face Democrat and Eudora Mayor Tamika Butler in November. The winner will serve the rest of former Senator Ben Gilmore's term, which runs through January 2029. Gilmore resigned earlier this year to take a position in the Attorney General's office. And parents and taxpayers getting started asking questions about rezoning plans in the Little Rock School District ahead of a new high school opening next year. As THV 11's Catherine Rowley shows us, the district is considering new attendance zone boundaries for Central, Southwest, and the new West High School.
So we have to rezone the city or the district to spread between 3 high school zones instead of 2 high school zones. So that's the reason we are rezoning for students.
Drawing new school boundaries may look simple on a map, but Little Rock School District leaders say the lines can split communities, sometimes more than once.
There are a number of communities that are in the middle of the city that happen to be in this zone actually that are already currently split multiple times.
Some Little Rock neighborhoods are already divided between multiple elementary, middle, and high school zones, meaning students can end up in a different group of classmates at each level.
If we are rezoning, I made an attempt to try not to continue to split those communities multiple times. They may have to split once from elementary school to middle.
The district says it wants to limit those splits, particularly in areas where several school boundaries meet. One goal is to keep students with their communities for as long as possible.
We were trying to keep some continuity in secondary if we could when working with some of these zone proposals, and some of the proposals do a better job of that than other ones.
Once leaders choose a final plan, the new boundaries will determine which students attend West High School and how the district distributes students among Little Rock's 3 zoned high schools. In Little Rock, Catherine Rowley, THV 11 News.
For many of us, sitting down for dinner is something that we look forward to every day. But for people with gastroparesis, even the smell of food can make them sick. This story hits especially close to home for one member of our THV 11 family, and that's coming up. Welcome back. It's hard to imagine you're at the dinner table surrounded by your favorite foods, but you can't eat any of it. That's the reality for many living with a chronic condition that delays emptying your stomach. It's called gastroparesis. And during August every year, advocates spread awareness to educate and build community. As diagnosed cases rise, that community fighting the disorder may be closer than you think. For THV 11's Brooke Buckner, it's right at home.
Dinner time is something most of my family looks forward to, but for my sister Morgan, it's just not the same.
Honestly, even the smells of food kind of make me feel nauseous, like my body's already telling me no.
Morgan was diagnosed with gastroparesis in 2013, just months after graduating high school. She says she knew something wasn't right when she felt full all the time. At first, she tried different prescriptions and adjusted her diet.
Like low fat, low fiber, low residue. Was doing frozen yogurt at the time, lots of crackers, just stuff that's kind of bland.
13 years later, she can't even tolerate that. At just 32 years old, she relies on this feeding tube to get all of her nutrients. Instead of digesting in her stomach, the formula goes straight to her small intestine.
In the beginning, I didn't quite know how to cope with it, but over time, I'm just kind of like, you know, this is life.
Yeah, morning appointments.
Okay. Dr. Hunter Dunn with Arkansas Gastroenterology says the chronic condition can look different for each person. Not everyone needs a feeding tube. Now he's seeing an increase in cases.
We're finding that there's an increased awareness of the condition, so more people are getting tested for it. We see exacerbation of symptoms or worsening of symptoms with the GLP medicines that people are using for weight loss and diabetes. And there's also the thought to be post-pandemic a relation to COVID, people having gastroparesis related to that virus.
Sometimes people with gastroparesis are also diagnosed with other disorders. For Morgan, that's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a condition that weakens your connective tissue, and postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, also known as POTS, which affects the nervous system. But there's one condition that Dr. Dunn says is more prevalent.
The most common would be diabetes. That's over half cases are related to diabetes.
He says that's one of the reasons we're seeing a rise in gastroparesis cases.
We have a rising rate of diabetes in the United States, so that in itself is going to increase the amount of gastroparesis we're seeing, but definitely we're diagnosing it more because we're thinking about it more, I think.
Besides feeling full, Dr. Dunn says there are other symptoms to watch for, like nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. A life-changing condition for Morgan, but through her struggles, she's met some of her closest friends living with the same thing, thanks to social media.
I was going through a very isolating time, and so I reached out to her, and next thing you know, we became best buds, you know, and have so much in common and shared experiences and everything. And then there was another support group that opened up this year where I met one of my second friends.
Leaning on one another through the ups and downs of their chronic condition. Brooke Buckner, THV 11 News.
And Arkansas lawmakers are weighing a new approach to school security, drones designed to respond during an active shooter emergency. The technology promises a fast response, but lawmakers still have questions about cost, capabilities, and legal liability. THV 11's Maya Ellison got a firsthand look at how it would work.
These drones were at the center of attention at the Capitol today. The company behind them says they could buy police precious time in an emergency. But before they ever fly in an Arkansas school, lawmakers say there is a lot to figure out. At the Capitol Wednesday, a company pitching drones as new school security tools made its case to Arkansas lawmakers. Campus Guardian Angel says their drones can respond within seconds when a campus faces an active shooter emergency.
So what we're doing is we're using drones with less lethal effects to protect schools and to stop active shooters if they were to come into a school.
CEO Justin Marston says the drones would wait in locked docks on campus, then be piloted remotely from Texas after an alert. They're designed to use light, sound, and pepper-based deterrents, all while sending video to law enforcement.
If they're trying to get from point A to point B, they go pretty fast. As they get close to the, maybe the classroom that they're trying to get into, they're going to start to slow down. And then once we find the assailant, it depends on what he's doing as to how we're going to kind of apply the effects.
We take all the video streams and we only look at them during the event, but that's how we build up situational awareness of what's happening through a shared common operating picture. We share that with law enforcement, but that's how we could see, we have like a Mission Impossible view of what's happening in the school.
Now for the company, it's a new way to buy first responders time, but for lawmakers, it's a new set of questions.
Legal liability, what their capabilities are from a lethal, non-lethal standpoint.
I mean, we're learning and reading and trying to gather information, but drone technology's been around for a while and is being used in a lot of different applications.
Marston tells me a part of that conversation all comes down to how much would this really cost.
Around $40 for the whole year, and so an 80,000 square foot school would be $20K a year.
With programs in Florida and Georgia, officials say they hope to add Arkansas to the list. But for now, the technology may be flying around, but whether this becomes a bigger part of school security across the state is still up in the air.
Our goal is that this just becomes part of history and nobody really thinks about it and talks about it anymore.
Marston says the company is working to bring the system to Arkansas State University and that they want to keep talking with other schools and universities too. Now, this demonstration was also seen last year in Conway School District, but Marston says they chose not to follow through. Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
A group of students go to Mars right here in Arkansas. THV 11's Brooke Buckner takes us through their challenging 10 days of simulated spaceflight after the break. But first, let's eat it up.
Also found out Bree's been here a million times. Been keeping the secret. I had no idea. He probably just told me. He's definitely told me about it. This week on Eat It Up, we are in Jacksonville. Technically Jacksonville, we're really near the Air Force Base. Smokin Buns, barbecue, and catfish, y'all. This place is like coming home. It is so good. We got Fish Friday going on because we're shooting on a Friday, and amazing brisket. Amazing, listen to this, barbecue quesadilla, and I want to introduce you to the Hoss. Oh yeah, you heard that right. So what do you say? Let's eat it up.
Corey Nicholson is the guy that started this place back in 2006. He was running a shack out back, just selling barbecue sandwiches and French fries and Coca-Colas for like $5. Us being business people, we saw an opportunity and purchased it from him in 2023. A lot of fun, it's a lot of learning, but we've really worked hard on trying to keep a family establishment and to provide the best barbecue in town. Our barbecue is top notch. It's top notch, it's inexpensive. If you compare us to all the other barbecue places in town, we're very competitive. But atmosphere is what we're really big about. We love for people to come out with their families, and we get a lot of compliments of, oh man, the atmosphere is great, the service, the people are friendly, and that's what we really try to focus on. Our smoked chicken quesadilla is top notch. It's delicious. It's a very quick and easy meal, and it's just something fun. It's top notch brisket. It's up there, and the price is right on. We have a sandwich coming out that's called the Hoss. It's large, very good. Get a lot of people that come up and say, y'all have the best catfish. And I'm not trying to brag or anything, but we really do.
Okay, we got barbecue, baked beans, coleslaw, toast, ribs, onion ring, and then just a knife right there in the middle. Dip it in that sauce right there. Oh, buddy. This was probably what I would order on the first time to get to try it. That is one of the most unique and unbelievable things I've ever tasted. The crunch test, here we go. John Allen's got an argument to be made, some of the best catfish in Little Rock, Central Arkansas area. First idea of brisket came to the world. This is what they were meaning. This is what they were thinking of. Always go with the brisket. Dive into that rib. Always judge to the ribs, saying, how dirty are your hands gonna get? Because that's how you know how amazing it was. Excellent ribs. This is me waving to me back at the studio saying, hey bud, remember when you were here and it was amazing? Because it was.
Welcome back. So 10 days cut off from normal life, all to find out how they'd handle a mission to Mars. A group of college students just put themselves to the test right here in Arkansas. And THV 11's Brooke Buckner followed their mission from the start through their return.
Phones off, helmets on. It's time to go to Mars. Well, sort of.
So this program is called Southeast Analog. We are an analog astronaut program, and that means that we are a research project that involves running realistic human spaceflight missions in places on Earth that resemble places on the Moon or Mars. It's hard to put on.
19-year-old Sophia Carrico from Georgia Tech is one of the astronauts leading the 10-day mission at Titan Ranch in Valonia, a former Cold War missile silo turned Airbnb turned living quarters for the crew, with all-you-can-eat snacks and rehydrated food.
All of our meals are nutritionally exactly what we need. They're not exactly solid food.
Definitely an adjustment from the meals they're used to on planet Earth. Oh, and did I mention, this is all underground.
Very much looking forward to seeing the sun again.
I'm definitely nervous about the lack of communication. Since we're simulating a Martian mission, we're not going to have access to the internet. So anything that we bring with us is what we have with us.
This is the entrance to our airlock. We'll go in and out through here when we go on all of our EVAs.
The team is made up of more than just the astronauts in Titan Ranch. Mission Control is back at the Georgia Tech campus. Shivali Chinani is one team member holding down the fort in Atlanta.
We really want to understand what it's like to live in space. We're really curious to see how so many people from different backgrounds can come together to make something like this happen.
The crew is also conducting experiments during their simulated space-time. One involves a rover, seeing how well it moves on Mars soil. The astronauts aren't really getting fresh air because of the helmets, but at least they got to see the night sky for a little bit.
Okay, so we just finished the EVA.
Post-EVA. After a lot of challenges and accomplishments, and more than a week in isolation, our astronauts return to civilization. And the screams say it all.
It was such an incredible experience.
With lots of lessons learned.
I wasn't expecting how hard sleep shifting was going to be. And when you think about it, a soul on Mars is only 24 hours and 40 minutes, which is not that different from Earth. But you would be very surprised that when you're actually living on this schedule, how difficult it is for your body to adapt, especially when you don't have cues like sunlight.
Challenging, but also worth the experience, they say, especially the quality time and funny moments along the way.
One of the things is a lot of the food, it's edible and it is definitely nutritious, but it's not one of our favorite things. So what we started was we started our own dictionary, and we were like, so the barbecue beans are the evil goop and the pasta is the creamy goop. And it was a lot of fun being with all these people. And since we're all going our separate ways now into different schools as well, I'm gonna miss all of them.
But thankfully, cameras still work in space.
We have just gotten so incredibly close, and we've already started planning our reunions. This is the last official time we'll be together for Southeast Analog, but I think the friendships and the relationships that we've built through this program are gonna last for our whole lives.
So long, Mars, for now.
And that'll do it for our 11 on 11 right here on THV 11 Plus. Join us next week for all of your top headlines in the natural state.